Welcome to the Goldspring Project Induction. This induction sets out the requirements for workers to comply with when undertaking work on any Goldspring work sites. This induction requires a 100% pass mark and is valid for 12 months once successfully completed. All workers are required to sign in and out via the login terminal provided at the site office. This process must be completed for every shift. Once you have signed on, report to the site supervisor. No work can commence until you have received the pre-start brief and signed on to your task safe work method statement and any relevant permits, and the protection officer's brief for all rail projects. Goldspring sites have a zero tolerance to illicit substances and alcohol in the workplace. Random testing will be undertaken, and any refusal will be deemed non-negative, which will result in your removal from site. The maximum allowable blood alcohol content is 0.00%, and drug limits will be in accordance with Australian Standards 4760 and 4308. If you are taking medication that is likely to be detectable, you are encouraged to obtain a statement from your treating doctor to present to a tester when required. All workers are required to self-assess their fitness for work, recognize the onset of fatigue, and report fatigue concerns to the site supervisor. You should also look for and raise concerns about signs of fatigue in your co-workers. The maximum scheduled shift length is 12 hours, and you can only work a maximum of 14 hours, provided you have completed a fatigue risk assessment with the site supervisor and is approved. You can only work 4 consecutive 12-hour night shifts, and the minimum break between shifts is 10 hours. Whilst on site, the minimum PPE is safety boots, long pants, high-vis long-sleeve shirt, safety glasses, and safety helmet, and any other PPE, as identified in the task safe work method statement, such as gloves, hearing protection, full face shield, etc. All site vehicles and mobile plant must hold a fire extinguisher, spill kit, two-way radio and first aid kit, and be fitted with a reversing alarm and flashing light. Seat belts must be worn when operating vehicles or plant, and pre-start inspections completed daily, with all defects reported to the site supervisor. Any vehicle or plant that has a defect must be removed from service, with an out-of-service tag attached. Do not pass or park within the vicinity of working or moving plant without approval from the operator via positive communications. Private vehicles are not permitted on the worksite, and all private vehicles must park in the allocated car park. In general, non-urgent personal mobile phone usage is distracting and is not permitted whilst driving, operating plant or walking. We recognize that in some circumstances, you may need to make or receive personal phone calls. We ask that you ensure that family and relevant parties only contact you in an emergency during project hours. You are required to report all hazards, dangerous acts, incidents, and any issues immediately to the site supervisor. Failure to report, comply with investigation requirements, or provide the required assistance may result in disciplinary action. In the event of an emergency, a call of emergency will be announced by two-way, direct communication, or telephone. Workers not assisting the emergency are required to assemble at the emergency assemble point. This location will be pointed out to you during your first on-site supervisor's brief. You are required to stay at the emergency assemble point until given the all-clear to return to site from the site supervisor. We are all responsible for undertaking all activities in an environmentally sensitive manner and follow established procedures. Therefore, where required, an environmental management plan will be developed, which you will need to review and sign. This plan will be available and pointed out to you during your first on-site supervisor's brief. Behaviors such as bullying, harassment, sexual misconduct, or violence, including threats, will not be tolerated and may result in instant removal from site. You are now required to complete your assessment, so thank you for your time, and remember, all accidents in the workplace are preventable.